What's going on, guys? It's Rick here, and today I bring you another round of Festival dos Galitos. This was round 4, and this game actually has a funny story that I want to start with before I get into the game. So, after a tough loss in round 3 and a double round day, I got pretty much a whole day to prepare against Antonio Vladin, my opponent for round 4. Yeah, the game was at night, and the whole day, I had time to prepare. And when I'm preparing against someone, the first thing I see and try to check is that if they have a Lichess or chess.com account with their name, you know. So I go and search for his name on chess.com, and I see exactly him with his name. I click on the profile, and like it says that I played him 6 times already, and he beat me 5 times, and I beat him once, and I was like, what, how? Um, as you can see here, like his rating is like 1200, so like how is that possible? So I click on the games, and this shows up. So we actually had games from November of 2020, as you can see, and the 6th of January, which is like such a long time ago, like 2 years ago, or 2 years and a half ago, honestly. And yeah, I was completely shocked. I didn't even remember any of those. And it's funny because at the time, as you can see, I was like 1200, 1300, and I got pretty destroyed by him. And right now, as you can see, my rating here as of today is like 2024 Blitz. And yeah, I've improved a lot over the past 2 years, and yeah, I was very excited to get to play him again. But this time, 2 years after, and I have improved a lot, and it's a slow game. So yeah, I was pretty amazed at that. Like, damn, it's a small world. What can I say? Wasn't expecting it. But okay, let's see how the game went. So I played e4. My opponent played the Sicilian. I played knight f3, d6, and here I played bishop b5 check. Yeah, I didn't really want to play d4 on the third move. I didn't really want to go into a open Sicilian. I wanted to do this sideline with bishop e5 check, which I quite like a lot. So my opponent goes knight bd7. I was expecting this from looking at his games, and here I played d4, and my opponent played a6. I took on d7. He took on d7, and I took on c5. And my opponent played queen a5 check. I played knight c3. He played queen takes pawn, so recovering his pawn, and I played bishop e3. And this was all my preparation. So pretty much we are on move 8, and I prepared until here. Yeah, I didn't really know what he was gonna do after queen takes e5, where he was gonna retreat, but he retreated to queen a5, and I wasn't expecting this, and so I started to think with my own brain right here. It kind of took a long time. Actually, it took like probably like 10 minutes to play queen a5 after bishop e3. So that made me confident that maybe he didn't see this coming, or he didn't remember this position from any of his games. So okay, I just castled. My opponent played knight f6, and here I played rook e1. So, nothing special, just developing pieces and centralizing them. So yeah, here my opponent played bishop c6, which makes sense to attack this pawn on e4. Now it's attacked twice and only defended one time. And here I spent quite a bit of time thinking of what should I do and how I should defend this pawn. And I actually came up with the best move according to the engine, which is bishop g5. And this move kind of looks a little bit weird to move the bishop again, but it actually is quite annoying to deal with this move because, you know, this move is not only aimed at defending the pawn, but also I kind of want to take the knight in a lot of scenarios. For example, here if my pawn plays g6, I would gladly take on f6 and ruin his structure here, you know, leave him with this isolated pawn. The king is still in the middle. Okay, he has the bishop pair, but I was hoping to have an edge here with the development and the king being unsafe here. And the same thing goes if he plays e6. I would take on f6 and we would get this type of position. Yeah, similar to the other one, I was counting on playing against the weak king in the center and this structure. So yeah, this actually didn't end up happening in the game, but this was my idea. So here my pawn played knight d7, which makes a lot of sense, just avoiding bishop takes on f6. Here I played queen d2. I really didn't know what to do. Honestly, here I didn't really have a concrete plan. The engine suggests that knight d5 is the best move and gives me a nice advantage with a 0.5, but yeah, I didn't really know what I would do after e6, but apparently this is actually losing after e6. Funny enough, if you guys want to spot the move that wins for white, there's actually two moves, so feel free to pause the video and write down in the comment section down below what move or moves win in this position. And 85% of you guys that watch my videos aren't subscribed. If you enjoyed the videos, I would highly appreciate if you could hit that subscribe button. Let's get back into the video. So yeah, the move that actually wins here, and I really didn't see in the game, is the fantastic queen d2. It's actually fantastic because my opponent can't take on d2 because knight c7 check is mate. Because of this bishop, it doesn't have, the king doesn't have squares. So actually after queen d2, believe it or not, the best move for black is literally to just give up the queen like this. Yeah, because the queen really doesn't have any square to go to, because yeah, I mean, I'm threatening knight c7 check and I'm attacking the queen, so there's literally no move for black that doesn't lose the queen or lose the game instantly, and I totally missed this, and this is completely beautiful. So if you guys spotted queen d2, man, you guys are really good at tactics for sure. Also b4 apparently is the same thing. It does literally the same job because the queen can't really get out of this diagonal, and the best move is still bishop takes d5 and just you know, giving up the queens. I ended up playing queen d2, missing knight d5, which is kind of unfortunate. That would be beautiful. And my opponent here plays h6, which kind of makes a lot of sense. I played bishop e3. The reason I didn't go bishop f4 or bishop h4 is that I was kind of afraid of my opponent expanding with g5. And yeah, something like this I really didn't want to allow, you know. Maybe plays g4, maybe plays rook g8 first, and I didn't really want to get attacked like this. So in order to discourage g5, I played bishop e3. Here my opponent could still probably go for g5, but at least it doesn't really win a tempo on my bishop, so I can play rook a d1, and you know, yeah, this would actually be quite difficult to deal with, and the engine says that the position is equal, so yeah, I would have to come up with something good here. So yeah, it was an opportunity for my opponent that I didn't go for. After bishop e3, my opponent played e5, which is another way to play, more calm. I didn't really like this e5 move, but I mean, what can my opponent do instead of playing e5? I mean, okay, we looked at g5. Probably I would do that if I was black, but yeah, it just looks risky. And it is okay. e5 makes sense. He wants to play bishop e7 and castle. So, okay. Here I played queen e2. Uh, the move queen e2 is pretty much I want to play rook ad1 and I want to also play knight d5, and with the queen on d2, you know, if I move the knight he could trade queens, and I don't really want to trade queens with my opponent because his king is still in the middle and unsafe. So queen e2 looked like a pretty decent move. Here my opponent played bishop e7 and I played knight d2. Yeah, knight d2, I could have gone rook ad1, but yeah, knight d2 also looked like a good move because I'm not only, you know, planning to go knight c4, but I also have ideas of f4. And yeah, I just thought it was a good move. Also, I want to mention that after knight d2, my opponent went queen d8. And it is important to mention that at this point in the game, my opponent probably had something like 10 minutes only. So yeah, it was after 15 moves, it was super down on the clock. He had like 10 minutes and I still had like 1 hour. So yeah, I had a huge time advantage and I was very confident about that, and I really just wanted to put pressure on him and kind of play fast because I saw that he was kind of starting to panic with such low time on the clock. So that is always important to mention. Here my opponent, I played rook ad1 and my opponent played bishop g5, which is already a big mistake because I don't really have to take the bishop. I can play knight c4, and now there's not a good way to defend this pawn. Actually, it's just gonna lose this pawn because it's attacked twice, and yeah, there's no defenders here. So yeah, already I have quite a big advantage here. My opponent finally castled, but now it is a little bit too late because I have knight takes on d6. My opponent trades on e3. I take with the queen, and my opponent goes queen f6. Here I played knight f5. Actually could have gone, and I saw that I could have gone knight takes on b7, but I mean, I don't know. I just didn't go for this. I don't know why. It would just be a clean pawn up. So yeah, it was a missed chance for me, for sure. But I think actually I wasn't really afraid of bishop takes on b7. I think I was more afraid of rook b8 here. Yeah, I was afraid of rook b8 because if I move my knight back to d6, let's say, my opponent takes on b2, and now he has some counterplay on the second rank, and I didn't really like this. But here I missed that I had actually just a rook d6, and yeah, this is a very nice move because now I'm forking the bishop and the queen, and after queen e7, just rook takes a6, rook takes on b7, and now, you know, I can even play probably b3 and b5 here, just protecting the pawn like this. So yeah, just I would be 2 pawns up, but okay, I played knight f5, which is still good. And actually after king h7, my idea with knight f5 was to play rook d6. So I missed rook d6 on the other variation, but here I actually found it and saw it, so very weird. But okay, rook d6, and here my opponent with like 1 or 2 minutes on the clock, he played queen g5, and I thought, okay, let's just trade because the endgame is definitely good for me. Here I just played knight e7, threatening to take on c6. My opponent played knight b8 to defend the bishop twice, and here I just played rook ed1. So very simple chess, just, you know, putting the rooks on the open files, and yeah, at this point my opponent was playing with seconds, so I was sure that I was gonna win here with up a pawn, like better position. It's just over at this point. So my opponent tried bishop d7 here. I played f3, which is kind of, it's kind of a it's a very bad move. I should have just taken on d7 twice. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't go for this. This would be completely winning. I don't know what I was afraid of, honestly. It doesn't really make sense to not go for this, but okay. I played f3 here, and my opponent played rook e8. Again, I could have taken twice on d7, but I didn't want to for some reason. I played knight d5 back, and after bishop e6, which my opponent played with like probably like 5 or 4 seconds on the clock, so yeah, yeah, this was just a blunder because it allows knight c7 with a triple fork here, and my opponent resigned here. It looks like he's just gonna lose a full rook, but actually still has knight c6, and after something like a knight takes on a8, rook takes on a8, yeah, I mean, he's still in the game, although like his position is completely busted, and then yeah, I would slowly win this. I'm like up an exchange and a pawn, so yeah, I don't see how he's gonna actually you know, try to hold here. It's really difficult, but okay. So this was the game, pretty smooth game, and I got my revenge after 2.5 years, which felt good. And yeah, I was very happy with this game, and how just I played some simple chess, and it was just enough to beat him. So very nice. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys for the next round. Bye bye. Take care.